And every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. We have Jay Trader, a stocks trader, on at 11. Sorry, on Wednesday at 10, and then Scott Pulcini, futures trader, Thursday at 10 a.m. We have a whole new calendar built out for you. I want to show you where you can find that information. You can go to bookmap.com, and here you will go to the more button here on the toolbar and go to the learning center here. This is a new section we just built out and launched publicly yesterday. You'll find getting connected videos here, getting started course on Bookmap, how to use Bookmap, with all the different small or very short videos that will go into some detail on some of the features and components. We have our market mechanics course here, order flow phenomena, add-ons, and insights. Scroll down a little bit further, different educators. We will build this out still, but you'll see here under the calendar, we have quite a lineup. In the morning, we have rain with crypto. This is just for today. But you can see all these events in here. It's from 8 o'clock until market close at 4 o'clock. So this is the current webinar here, all markets with me. Right after that, you have Tom B, volume profile trader, looking at the S&P E-mini. Today we have in Spanish, we have Frank Moreno, Spanglish Trades. He'll go through the stocks and futures in Spanish. Options with Doug is at 1:30, and then the Algo Boys rounded out. They are only on our Discord channel. You'll need to come there if you want to watch that stream. So lots of different things happening every day here in the calendar. All right, so let's go through the disclosure quickly, and then we'll jump in. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's take a look here, and not sure what to cover this morning here in the webinar. I think I'm going to just jump right in and go through some correlated markets. Just saw some really great stuff earlier today, and I posted it in the chat room here in Discord. So I thought I'd go over that. Take a look here and in our Discord chat here. This one to begin with, and there's a divergence here with the 6E and boy, this is pretty big here. Hold on. With the 6E or the euro dollar and then the stock indexes. Now, this is what's important to understand here. There is something wrong with the pricing here. All right, this correlation with the 6E. There's euro strength, but the S&P is selling off. Okay, that's not the way it's been typically acting. All right, now what do we have here in the S&P though that helps us give us more information here? Okay, well, we have a few different things. Number one, this was a previous low here, as you can see at the during the European session. Well, we just dip below and make a lower low here. But look what we trade into. High liquidity on the bid here. Absorption. So this might be the theme that we're going to cover is about absorption today. This is a really great opportunity. You have larger players lined up on the bid, getting filled, transactions right into them. And you also have up here the euro strength. So this is a bargain down here. Okay, this is where you can start to think of these as don't look for a specific setup, or you're not looking for some sort of puzzle or mathematical thing here. You're basically just comparing different products in a market. You might be going to the farmer's market and you say, wow, well, blueberries are really high right now, but raspberries are really low. Therefore, I'm going to stock up on, that's, off, so I'm going to stock up on raspberries or blackberries or whatever, and I'll wait and get blueberries another time. That's what you're basically doing here. And these things happen all day long. We see that finally the just after 8 o'clock here, the S&P really starts to pick up. Okay, it becomes in line with the euro. The S&P goes up. This is the correlation we'd be looking for. So we're looking for it to trade up into where? This is where Bookmap helps you, not only with the absorption here. Okay, it gives you really good insight here. You want to be trading with these guys down here. All right, they got it wrong. There's an imbalance here. All right, and then up here, well, start to target high liquidity. Okay, so if you get involved, look at this on the bid at a higher level. They're still on the bid, trading into high liquidity. It's still going higher. So you look for 55, you look for 58, you look for 60. As long as this correlation is working and you see buying strength come in the ES, this is where you're looking to go. All right, so really simple, straightforward setup here this is something you can add into your trading plan. We can go down further, and I found another one right after this. This was after news, in fact, and here it is here, right? Very, very simple again. Here's the news. You can see the liquidity pulled. What was it? This was PMI. God, what was it? It was the flash manufacturing and flash services PMI at the same time here. So, I mean, this is an important number, and you can see it's important because it's respected here. Everyone pulls their liquidity. And what happens with the, you don't get much of a move here in the ES, but look at this euro dollar drop. Okay, the euro dollars, this the 6E here, it's this green line. And look at this here, just chopping back and forth. This is where you want to get in on things like this. Okay, you want to trade with these traders here. Okay, they're buying, and yet there's dollar strength here. Okay, so there's something wrong here, and you're looking for getting at least the concept here is you are purchasing or you are selling here the ES at the top. Okay, it is overvalued compared to the euro dollar, right? Very, very simple things here. Well, you got a good price. Great. Okay, now how do you manage something like that? Well, you can look for areas of high liquidity to take some off, or if this continues to, once it starts to align with the correlation, hold it and look for lower liquidity levels, just like we did on the way up in this example here. All right, so anyway, guys, this is over in the Discord chat if you want to come over here and check it out. I just posted them some minutes ago. All right, so just to let you know. All right, good morning, Tony. Good morning, Viper. Viper, I mean, I know that, I mean, these are just so simple concepts, and yet these things happen all day long. Now, the lower the time frame you go, the harder it is. I find with correlations because they just are out of whack for several minutes, and that's why this is such a much better setup down here. Is that this had gone on for a while, and look at this pricing, and you've got absorption down here. It's beautiful. Okay, so you're really looking for this to unfold. If this doesn't, boy, something's wrong. I mean, either euro's got to curl over and drop, or something. But now you can see that the correlations have aligned again here. And look what's happened here in the S&P. Okay, after the news here, after you see this drop here in the euro dollar, the correlation with the S&P line aligned, and it traded right down and made new lows here into 41.40. Now it's just starting to bounce out of that area. Yet there's still, even with this bounce here, there is still discrepancy here. Okay, euro dollar still at a lower area here. It's starting to bounce a little bit, but like, you know, not like the S&P has. All right, and in fact, we can go over and let's take a look at the euro dollar. This is something I want to cover in here. Align some of these areas. Look at high liquidity and look at absorption, or this context between the aggressors and the limit or the liquidity, the limit sell orders here. And look how it starts to trade up into these areas in here. Now we're looking for something similar, right? We're looking for absorption, complete absorption. Lots of limit sell orders and buyers can't get through. Okay, that's what we'd be looking for on the euro dollar, and then to align that with the stock indexes. Okay, so and then once you can kind of see that, and this alignment here is a beautiful one. You know, here's another one up here, but let's see, what time was this? That was at right around 9 o'clock, 9:02. All right, well, let's take a look. All right, let's look at, you know, S&P went higher, but let's look at the around 9:02 here, euro dollar. Okay, so yeah, you can start to see some selling in here. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I'm looking though for absorption. Now we had absorption earlier here, okay, at this price level, so that's pretty good. Okay, price went a little higher though. Okay, but do you see a lot of buying pressure up here? Here's our absorption here. It actually happened, you know, like half an hour earlier, basically. It did come up into this area here, but they basically pulled here on the euro dollar. And then we can see that it punched through, but do we see a lot of buying in there? No. Once we start to see it go back into the range here, now this took a little while because this was in an uptrend here, and it takes a little while for these things to turn around, and it was basically the data that turned it around. It was on its way. To me, it looks like it was on its way anyway. We see some more absorption. Not really, actually. Yeah. No, this is a little more complex. We don't really see absorption here, but it was up here though, for sure. Okay, at the highs, and that's where we'd be looking for, you know, this in the S&P hitting absorption as well. Well, now you've got something here, 902. All right, so there's a whole bunch of different trades in here to take a look at. All right, so 902 here. Now S&P went a little bit higher, but it finally did sell off here. That's due to the data. But anyway, guys, just some concepts, some ideas to cover. Really, I love the correlations. I think it makes a lot of sense when you start to really look at these markets and look for opportunities, because you're looking for something misaligned in the pricing. And it only makes sense to me that if it's compared to something else. All right, so anyway, we have the correlation or the market pulse tool that can show the correlations as well. But it gives a sound on the, we can add it here. It will give a sound here. So we've got the volume pressure for each of these. In fact, let's just open them both up. Okay, for the NQ and also for the euro dollar here. Let's see what we get, right? And maybe we'll keep an ear out for these to give us some insight with the S&P here. All right. So good stuff. Yeah, let's continue on, and let's stick with this theme of absorption. I think today I was going to go over price action, well, I can put it to the vote here. Whatever you guys want to listen to, or what you'd like me to cover here. So I'll put a poll in here. Add one more option actually. All right, put your vote in. For those of you over in Discord, it's over on YouTube. So I guess I can throw it in here too. You'll have to put a thumbs up or a thumbs down on what you want me to cover here. Absorption, price action, or correlations. All right, so put a thumbs up or thumbs down on one of which one you want, or put a thumbs up on the one you want in Discord in the chat. The hashtag all markets Bruce. Okay, all right, and let's see who's winning so far over here. Absorption's the winner so far. Okay, all right. Sounds good. Sweeps. Okay, Captain Price. Yeah, maybe another time on sweeps. I don't know. Look at this NQ aligning here. You guys can hear that, I know, over on in YouTube. You cannot hear it here in Discord. I'm going to bring this down a little bit here. Terms of volume. Okay. There we go. All right. Wow, this is a real strong move here. Really strong move here, guys. The correlated markets are all aligned here as well. However, like boy, as I'm sorry about this. I'm just getting it kind of set up here, and the move is basically over. I would be taking profits now on this up at the top of the range here, to be honest. So I know there's going to be some profit taking up here, and we know that's where the sellers came in when this data came out, right? Yeah, anyway, we kind of missed the move on that, which is kind of a pity. Let's see, did we get anything out of the correlations? Not really. I mean, we do have a mispricing here. The S&P took off here before euro dollar. So this actually is kind of interesting. The correlation kind of flipped here. The euro dollar was kind of leading earlier. We see, look at the difference here. And then look at the difference here. Okay, so here we have the S&P leading, and now euro dollar is kind of catching up to that. Okay, and it has a ways. Euro dollar has a ways to go. It has to come up to here, basically. Okay, so S&P has already come back up to there. Oh, okay, Viper. Yeah, you did the spread. Yep, nice with NQ and ES. Yeah, good one. Did you go kind of delta neutral on that, or did you kind of add maybe two contracts, NQ to one ES, Viper? Just kind of curious. I'm sure. I mean, you can. What's really nice is the using the micros to really align it and get it spot on. One-to-one. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, the different delta, you know, the movement it's kind of, it can be kind of tricky with those two instruments. But anyway, with you can definitely match it up a lot better, or even if you have a large account with the regular contracts, no problem. But with the micros, with smaller account, that would be a lot easier. You can really fine tune it. All right, well, let's see. The winner is absorption here, guys. No one wanted to cover correlations. Okay, all right, sounds good. I'm going to take the correlation tracker off the chart then here. Okay, so if you guys are interested in this, this is where you can find it. It's under the configure add-ons area here. So you just click on it here. This is included with Global Plus. So if you are interested in that, it's only with Global Plus, not Global. Okay, and you have to open up the symbol like 6E over here first, then you can add it here into the chart. So if I click on add here, you can see what I have available is only what I have open here. All right. Yeah, we've had this tool for a long time, for over like 5 years or so. Anyway, all right, so let's take a look at some absorption. Well, guys, all right, good call. Here we go. Here's a lot of absorption already. All right, so now, yeah, I'd look for this to sell off a bit here and into liquidity on the bid here and here, 52.5. It's not, we're reading now context here. This is a really important thing. When you want to look at absorption, is you want to look at the context here. The strength and the move is still to the upside here. Okay, so this is the way to read. Guys, I'm gonna close these for now. Sorry, because I really want to focus on the absorption here. Okay, so it's really important. It's such a key element in Bookmap, and getting really good at absorption is going to be really helpful. There's absorption, or I'm sorry, there's not absorption here. Okay, look at this. This is the context that we talk about, and it's right in front of us, and it's starting to happen again up here, right? We would look for this to drop into, and it's already done it, okay, into our level here. I would take partial profit there just to reduce risk. It's not a trade recommendation. It's just a consideration for managing your trades. Okay, now let's go through it though. Why and we'll zoom in and look at these two examples. Okay, why not here? Okay, well, they're on the bid, or I'm sorry, they're on the offer here, they're on the offer here, but look at that buying pressure and look at it tear into that high liquidity. Okay, now it pulls back a little bit, and this is where the context really is key. Is there more buying pressure by the aggressors? Yes. More buying pressure. They trade into this level, then they trade right through it. They keep blazing through these areas here. All right, we get a bit of a pullback in here, and again, buying pressure into high liquidity here and here. Now it's being absorbed though. Okay, absorption means that it cannot trade through that area. This is an example of absorption. Okay, it's not the best example, but it is an example. Look at all the buying up here. Okay, it fails to go higher. Okay, it goes one tick higher, but they're still here at this 56.25 as well. All right, this is what we want to understand in terms of context. Now, what we want to know is if there is still buying pressure. Okay, let's zoom out. So we see that we get an immediate kind of sell-off here, and we do see some sellers here. Now, this is where you can look at all sorts of things in here. You can look at your ABC patterns. You can start to look at your volume. We've covered this for years in understanding. I may cover a little bit of the ABC pattern, but we've covered this for years in here. Now we're looking at this kind of turnaround. Okay, now what we want to understand is now we got the absorption here. Okay, we got that. Do we get sellers at the bottom range here? Yes, we do. Now we're looking for exhaustion up here, or lack of buying. This is the context yet again. Remember how we looked at it earlier. Okay, back in this area here, the context was there was still more buying pressure. Okay, well, this context is different. there is not more buying pressure up here. It is starting to exhaust out. Now what we're looking for is sellers again. And do we get them at the bottom of this little range? Yes. Okay, so we're just looking for, in this example, just to trade down to here. Okay, now I know that's only a point, but the example holds true. And then we're looking for more selling to take it down to the bottom of this range here. Okay, and then we looked at, I think, 52, right? Or something like that. Let's take a look here. No, I guess first we looked at, yeah, this one here at 53.5, but then we said in real time before it traded there, we were looking at this kind of 52 3/4. Okay, that traded. Now we are still in a pretty strong move to the upside, but due to this absorption and these sellers, we're looking for it to at least trade down to here. That's it. Take some off. Okay, reduce your risk. Move your stop to break even. You get stopped out. So what? You made some money. You protected your loss. Okay, and you could have been set up for a big reversal potentially. Okay, now what we want to determine again is the buying pressure versus the limit sells. And here we go, and see how they're trading through now. Okay, this was not absorbed. There's more buying pressure in here. Okay, great. So where are we looking? 60. All right, so if they can trade through these and we still see buying pressure, we're looking for the next level of high liquidity up here. All right, now let's read the pressure up here. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm still looking for this to go higher. If we trade into another variation of this would be we trade into these levels in here and then we start to exhaust out up here. And that's not good. Although we do see buying pressure able to carry it through, then if we start to see very little trading up here, that's not good. Right? It's starting to exhaust out. All right, so then we would look for maybe a deeper pullback. Or a potential reversal, but I would look for the deeper pullback at that time. Okay, now look at this configuration in here, buying into high liquidity. Okay, this isn't bad. I would look for the retest. Now they couldn't even retest back up to the high here. And do we see sellers in here? Yes, sellers here, sellers in here as well. All right, so now look at lower liquidity here at 57. This is what we want to determine right here in the live market. Is there enough buying pressure to trade into and through this? No, not right now. Not right now. Okay, so sellers should be able to take it down to 54. Okay, or maybe down to this 52.5. Okay, there's our context playing out in real time. All right, now we weren't quite too sure up here to begin with, because yeah, it's not bad. It's auctioning here. We see buyers up here. There's still some more buying pressure, so we do look for another retest back up here, and they failed to get up there. We see the sellers in here. We see more liquidity at a lower level here, and we start to see the selling coming in. I'm looking for it to drop. It's already traded to our first level here at 54. Okay, you can take some off. Right now, these are just considerations. Okay, we're integrating reading order flow here together with trade management. Okay, very simple reads in here, and we're talking about this context with absorption. All right, so anyway, that's what we see so far. Okay. Now let's see, where would you be likely to getting in? Maybe around this 56 area. Maybe if you're a little more aggressive, you got in around this 56.5 area, and you already took some off. Okay, this is hypothetical. All right, so just not trade recommendations here, and now we see some more selling coming in too. All right, well, we're still looking to see if we can get that selling pressure to come back down in these lower areas here. Okay, so that's it. Let's see, Viper. Don't want to interrupt, but when you get a chance, easier to see the absorption on 30 seconds time slice. Yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, okay. EM, you're looking for coming back down to VWAP. All right, so what you're looking for now, this is where you can integrate. You like to trade VWAP. You look at VWAP, setups or strategies. Great. So we have a absorption up here, and we have some buying back up above it, but it failed to get up here again. And once we see the sellers come in again here at the bottom of this little edge here, that's where we're looking for them to drop it and break it, okay, and come back down into this 54, okay. And we're still looking for 54 and lower, and it's not working out right now, right? We're starting to see buyers come in, okay. Now they've only traded it back up to the 56 so far, okay. So where it dropped from, right? So do I see a lot of buying pressure in here to trade to 57, 58, and 60? Not yet. Not yet. All it's done is retest back to 56. Okay. We're looking now. This is just a fractal, basically, of our bigger picture here that we were looking at earlier. Okay. So this is kind of very similar here. Do we see more buying pressure in here at this point? All right. Now it's looking better. They'll trade up here to 57. Okay, so now, again, this is counter trend in the bigger picture, but we're positioning ourselves for potential reversal. We talked with Slowdown about this last week, or maybe earlier in the week, that reversals are tricky, it takes a while for them to kind of turn around. But again, we're just looking at and reading this context between absorption and the aggressor and the price structure here. Okay, so it even failed to trade into it. The best offer went into 57, but not one transaction. They didn't even take these guys on at 57. Okay, it looked like there was enough buying pressure to trade into it. There wasn't. All right, that gives us some insight. All right, now are we getting sellers back down here at the bottom of this range? Yep, looks like it. All right, let's see them drop it down to 52.5 here. This liquidity here. Okay, yeah, I like it. It's the bottom of this range in here. Okay, for you pullback traders, well, we can even look at a fractal within this little area right in here. Yeah, that, I mean, boy, it's the same setup. Basically, this is kind of trap volume, and here's a stop run. Here's your exhaustion here. Here's your sellers here. Look for this as being your first target. I know it's not much, but like you're just looking for the bottom of this range here to test first, just like you are at the bottom of this range to test here now. All right. And it looks good. Well, let's add our VWAP in here, and we can go over maybe absorption and VWAP. Okay, so VWAP going back and forth, it's right here at the figure. So that's a nice area here as well. We also see some volume, kind of low volume node areas here, kind of at the edge of it. All right, this is getting a little more complex in here. We didn't get absorption. We didn't get even the test to 52.5. Okay, at least yet. Okay, and what we want to read in here is the absorption, or at least the transactions into high liquidity and that context afterwards. So this is, this area here, it traded into, but it traded through. This is where we got the insight later. High liquidity in here and the selling in here. Okay, looking for the drop into our 54 and then the 52.5 here. Okay, now it's trading into it. All right, so let's get some insight here. Okay, so all right, some of that pulled in here. Now this is not as easy. It's a little more complex. Is trading into the 52 and a half. Okay, and then they pulled some of that. Now we see more on the bid here. Okay, at just a tick lower, and then like a point lower, a full point lower of liquidity here. Okay, well, what was the reaction by the market aggressors in here? Well, they kind of repelled by this now. Okay, so now this context is, like I said, it's a little more tricky. Yeah, we can get buyers that come in and they'll maybe come back up to the top of this range here, or maybe up into yeah, just up into here around 55 or so. But we don't have that real nice absorption in here. We still do have our context. There's more in here, and it kind of repelled the sellers. They're not attracted to it. The buyers came in, and they took the market back up to the top of the range. This is looking more back and forth at this time. Now that, obviously we see the move right back down here. Okay, but this is pretty typical when you don't see commitment in here. With the liquidity in here, trading into these areas in here, there can be a lot of back and forth. All right, so just keep that in mind in that context in here. Now, we don't know. What if the scenario was, okay, well, buyers, this repelled the sellers, we're finding buyers in here, and let's go through a scenario. What if, hold on. Okay, what if we came up here and then this liquidity here pulled and added higher underneath here? All right, what if we went through a scenario like that? And what did we get? We got big green dots up here. Okay, then that would give us insight that we would likely come up to this area here where it dropped from, and maybe highs of the day, and this back up into this 57 that did not transact. Okay, we would look for that then. Okay, we look for this range to be broken at this top of this 54 3/4, and then back up into these areas here. Again, context. This scenario didn't come to play here. It didn't play out. Okay, so instead we got this back and forth in here. Okay. Yeah, even in here, like it's kind of it's not quite as clear. Now they're trading. It's the same thing. They're trading into it here, and we do see more sellers in here, but they continue to pull a lot of that liquidity in here. Okay, it's going lower, but and they're trading into some of it and getting kind of partially filled, and that's about it. Okay, now let's take a look at this though. This is getting interesting now. High liquidity here on the offer. And the buyer, we found some buyers. Do we find buyers back up above it here at this bottom of the range? There's a little bit. Okay, and they're bidding here. Okay, I'd like to see them bid up a little bit more, and I'd like to find more buyers. Okay, so let's see if we can get that. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so let's see if we came right back down. And now let's see if we can get. What I'm looking for in here is the buyers back up here again. Okay, because I know it auctioned there. Okay, so if we can get buyers back up here again, then I'm looking for the move higher. Okay, just by this context in this area in here. In this little area in here, this context. Okay, now this is becoming more interesting. They're kind of getting filled in here, kind of not. Okay, a beautiful EM right back to your there's your VWAP trade. Wonderful. Okay, now what are you going to do though? Are you maybe you're done for the day? Okay, but we talked about it here. No matter what you're trading, understand this area up here, and you're looking for your bigger picture to move down to VWAP or the figure or your low volume node. There's 3 different areas, or where this broke out from here, there's 4 different areas to consider the retracement back down here. Okay, for the higher time frame or medium time frame. All right, so there we go. Right, and it doesn't matter what kind of trader you are, this is what you want to understand. It's up here. Okay, once we understand this context in here, you can look for your VWAP, back to the mean type of trade. All right, good stuff. Nice trade. Generally, what is the proportion of limit orders executed to market orders? Well, I mean, there's got to be, it's 1 for 1. There has to be someone who takes the other side of the trade. Okay? It's just that there can be more. Now we're starting to talk about like what really moves the market. All right, so basically what this means is like, well, here, lots of sellers, but there's still more selling. Now watch this though. I'm looking actually for right now buyers right up here, and then if we can get it, they should come up to the top of the range, or this liquidity here at 48 and 48.5. Okay, because we're seeing absorption all the way down. Now I'm looking for buyers. Okay, and we're starting to find a few, and now it's starting to exhaust out. All right, so yeah, not ready yet. It's not ready yet. Okay, but I'm looking for it. Right now, what about down here? Okay, well, this is getting more and more interesting in here. Yeah, kind of partially pulled, kind of staying in the book, and then let's see if we can get it again now. Okay, there's a little bit on the offer or on the bid here. Okay, 1 player, which about 500 contracts there. Well, how does price react to this? Okay, how much more selling pressure is there compared to all of these limit buy orders in here? Okay, there's still more selling pressure. All right, so this is again what Bookmap is just excellent at displaying this and going through these concepts in here, and this is exactly how the market moves. So your question, EM, is well, it's always 1 for 1. There has to be someone on the other side who takes the trade, always. So I mean, yeah, you might get like a gap or a spread, but the spread is it doesn't matter. Someone has to take the other side of the trade. If the spread widens out here and there's only someone who wants to buy down here, if someone hits market sell, they're going to transact down here. That's what's going to happen. Right now, these markets are pretty amazing. There's 1 tick wide spread. So what has to happen in here is you have to have like enough sellers in here take all the liquidity at this price level here, and they trade 37 or more, that it drops down to the next level to this 44.25, and now there's 56 orders here, or contracts, right? So now those have to all transact, right? And or pull. Okay, and then the price can go down to the next level. Okay, and then not all of these need to transact, and then price can go down to the next level. That's how the market moves. Okay, it is the aggressor who is taking all the liquidity and then moving it to the next price level. So it's always 1 for 1. It's just there might be more aggressors than there are limit buy or sell orders. And that's exactly what we're talking about in here in terms of absorption. Okay. Now, one of the things about absorption, like again, like we've covered some of these examples as bounces, or that context of like hitting into it and then looking for buyers on the other side. Well, here clearly there's just more selling pressure, so we're looking for lower areas in here. This is looking interesting. Okay, we're at lows of the day here. Okay, back down to here, right? And look at the buyers lined up here. Okay, so here we go. Now there's some absorption. Okay, and they're pulling, so it's still not quite the clearest yet. Okay, we can still go lower. Okay, now the bid, now look at the bid here. It's looking pretty good. They're bidding up in these areas in here. That's good. That's a little bit more bullish. We're still in a downtrend. We still have sellers. Now they just transacted into these levels here. Okay, great. Now look at this here. Is there still buying or selling pressure? No, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing buyers now. Now it's looking ready. Okay. Now we might have another retest back down here, but it's looking ready. See the flip here? Now look at them bid up here. Okay. Let's see if we can get buyers up into here, this area here at 42. Okay. Again, we're just reading the context in here, understanding pressures in the market, buyers versus sellers, limit or the passive orders versus the aggressive orders. Now look at the context starting to change here. Look at this. Okay, they were on the bid and they're still here on the bid at a higher level. That's good. But look at here, coming in on the offer, not finding those buyers now. They're kind of getting cold feet, and now they're trading into this liquidity here. Okay, and are they getting filled? Are they transacting? Are they absorbing that selling pressure? Kind of, right? And we don't like kind of. We want to see, like, you know, something really clear. But we're still kind of reading the context in here. We're still putting the pieces together. Okay, so anyway, I hope this is helping, guys. Look at the bid here again. Let's see, do sellers take them on? Yeah, there we go. Okay, now are they transacting? Okay, great. Starting to. Okay, great. So now let's look for this little area here above here and buyers. Okay, this is a scenario to go through. Okay, and we're looking for it. Now we're looking for buyers back up above here. Okay, and if we do, we should see the move back up into maybe up here. Okay, or this liquidity here. Nope, still more selling pressure, still going lower. Okay, but they are still on the bid in these areas in here. Okay, we're looking for the bigger players that want to, you know, buy at these low levels here. Okay, now we were looking for that scenario here. It's going to play out right now. Now we're going to get our move up into 41. Okay, so it had to come down one more time here and then come back up. Okay, and retest back up in here, and now we're starting to find those buyers. Okay, and now we're looking for the move back up to 41. Okay, now this is kind of a spoof in here, or, you know, they pulled that liquidity in here. Okay, it still adds another layer of kind of complexity in here. Okay, it looked pretty good, and then they pulled, but we're still finding buying pressure here, so we're looking for that move into 41. And now look at them pull that liquidity up here. Okay, what's our context now? They're pulling the liquidity here. They don't want to be sellers here. Are we still finding buyers? Yeah. Okay, so let's see the buyers take this on and try to, if there's more buying pressure, and trade through. There's our 41. Okay, now guys, this is, you know, I hate to, you know, make a call on the market. I just want to get these concepts across of understanding this context. okay, because it just plays out. It's just how the market works. And the more objective we can be at reading and understanding the buyers and sellers in here, the more we can anticipate a move like this up to 41. Okay, and just 41, right? Maybe at this point M is looking for a move back to his VWAP up here, right? So absorption, this is such a simple, easy strategy. It's pretty brilliant. Look for absorption away from VWAP, and then look for those buyers to come in and trade it back to VWAP. There you go. So did I answer all your questions? I think so. And let's see here. Yeah, we got, okay, over in Discord, most of you guys want to look at absorption as well, so good thing we're covering that. What are my thoughts on the quotes delta column? I like it. I don't really use it too much. You know, I really want to kind of like home in on this context here, and really read and understand that. That helps me the most. And look at my higher time, especially when you correlate that with higher time frame levels, or correlate it with other markets. I think it can really lead to some great insights. Another one to throw into the mix here is the stops and icebergs. This is my favorite add-on from Bookmap. Being able to understand not only the context between the limit orders and market orders within the price structure, but then understand the market or the order types that are transacting, I think is just amazing. What we see here in this context is larger players with iceberg orders getting filled in this little area up in here, and then in this area here as well. Okay, from this area on down to about here. Okay, so are they profit taking? Are they positioning themselves? It really doesn't matter. We just know that these are iceberg buying, and buying against selling pressure. That's what, again, we don't need to know if they're adding into the market now or if they're exiting the market. We just need to know this context between buyers and sellers. That's it. Okay, and then we see the stop run down here, which means basically some exhaustion in essence. This is a good one here. I mean, right into this area here, big stop run, and then that was the low here. Now obviously this is in hindsight, but we were on this. We were looking for the move to 41. It had to come back here, and then I think we looked for it in here right at this point, right? And then the scenario did play out. It didn't play out here. It played out here on the retest, and then the move up to 41. Okay, a little bit higher than this swing here. And now look at them. Here they go. Right now that's how this can kind of turn into a reversal. Now it depends on your time frame. Again, like have we reversed on a higher time frame? No. Seller is still in control from this move in here. And let's just zoom out some more. Yeah, and seller is in control from this move here for the day at least. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, let's turn this into a quotes delta column. Yeah, the quotes delta, like for me, I never really, I know a lot of traders love the quotes delta column. It just happens so quickly. I find it hard to read. I know where you're coming from on this, and why people like the quotes delta so much, which means adding and pulling of liquidity at across, and you can see it updates. I don't have any reference. Instead I can look at the heat map though, and understand the adding and pulling of liquidity in the heat map. So that's what I like to use. There's another way of reading this as well, and it's through maybe the COB column in here. Add another COB column, and look at your COB column. You can look at an aggregate, or you can set the depth in here if you want. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to do that. Not in this one. Hold on. In here, we'll go back to a COB column, and we can look at an aggregate view of it. We can also set the depth, and you can look at your kind of inside market. I like doing this every now and then, and being able to understand that. Okay, all right, so I know up here there's 841, there's 600 or 700 down here, so there's a little bit more on the offer. How does the market think of this, right? So it's kind of the same thing in terms of your delta. I just have an aggregate view of it though, and I've limited the book here, right? So I'm looking for some sort of book and balance in here, and aggressors to kind of charge after some of those areas. All right, so anyway, let's go back to a volume. All right, let's see. Any more questions? Good morning, Jack. Hey. Excellent. Got your ranges going. And let's see. EM is wondering how much the market is in the book. I don't understand the question. But what about the absorption add-on? Yeah, sure. Let's add that in, actually, Tony. We're just reading the basics in here, the heat map. The absorption add-on is I love it. It's very, very simple add-on, and all it is doing here is within a very small time frame, show me where 100 or greater, or we can put in maybe 500 for the S&P, or greater transacted within this very small time frame. Okay, so this add, you're spot on, Tony. This adds more insight into what's going on in here, because look at this, look at these areas up here. Okay, why is there absorption here? Okay, well, there is some liquidity in here, but there's 1,200 contracts at this one price level that traded very, very quickly. Okay, it's a sweep of the order book, no question, and it's a stop run as well. But here, and what is the answer? I think you can kind of understand. Well, it's partially because there's liquidity here, but there's another answer to that, Tony. In fact, let's see if we can get more insight from the next area here. Yeah, we'll probably get more insight from this one. Yeah. So yeah, the answer is here that there's a an iceberg here. Right here it is down here. Okay, and it's not bad. It's like almost 400. Okay, so they're absorbing it here. So we have the icebergs, iceberg detector that can show you that there's absorption happening that might not be in the order book. We have this absorption indicator that comes with global plus as part of it. The stops and icebergs is sold separately and can work with global or global plus. That doesn't matter. You just need to have rhythmic, and you have to trade CME group futures. But this can give you additional insight to areas where they're absorbing, but we don't see it in the heat map. Right, and that can be very, very helpful. Stops, and you can align it with your stops and your icebergs, or your icebergs here, and start to understand, wow, okay, well, these sellers failed to drive it lower. All right, so if that is the case, we can make this into kind of a pivot line here. This is where the sellers are, or the buyers are supporting it, went against them. But now look at this pop up above here. This is where you can look for now buyers here at the top edge, and for the push higher up into like maybe 44 or 45 here. Okay, based off of understanding this absorption here. Okay, now if you were looking for something like that, then I would say this would be your kind of your first take profit, to be honest, top of the range. But I would still be looking for this to go higher. Okay, up into 45 here. Okay, based off of what Tony was just saying there, which was great. What about the absorption indicator? Well, here we go. Perfect. Thanks, Tony. Okay, and that's a nice area up in here too. Maybe a little shy of 45, but this is where it kind of dropped from here. And you can see they're starting to line up in the book here a little bit too. So this always, again, the context always changes in here, right? We want to understand that context in here. If they're going to add more in here and start to stay in the order book and get filled in here, well, maybe we're not going to make it to 45 then. All right. Just look how powerful absorption is. Understanding absorption there, it did it traded into 45. Okay, now did they stay in the book here? Let's just take a quick look. Yeah, they did. Okay, they're trading right into it, and they're staying in the order book and filling. Okay, so these contracts here, which was 300 transacted. Okay, and there still seems to be more buying pressure. There you go. There's your retracement again, right back to VWAP. Okay, and we talked about that down at the bottom edge here. Great stuff. Trade to the VWAP, through it, lows of the day, and then back to VWAP. Yeah, okay, Jack, thank you. There's volume profile, guys. You're looking at your value area, low, high, whatever. Then you have another thing to add in here. Again, though, what we're looking at doesn't matter what you're trading. It could be a pattern. It could be a double bottom pattern. It could be your value area low. It could be your initial balance low and rejection back into the mean. It doesn't matter. We want to understand in here, and thanks to Tony for pointing this out on the absorption indicator, which also is in line with a few different things here. Number one, we have liquidity that we were reading in here. They're absorbing. And then we have kind of this hidden absorption here, two areas here. And they're icebergs as well. Okay. And now look at this pop to the upside here. And we were just looking for the move to 45 to begin with. Right. Now, this is your initial, this is a failure of the initial balance down here. So we can cover this. What's your setup? in your failure of initial balance, or of a double bottom here. Okay, it's the same thing. It's just that it took place within the first hour. It's actually past the initial balance time, or this is your initial balance low. So this is the retest of it and then the failure of it. So what are we looking for down here? Well, we're looking for larger players to get their position on with their limit buys, okay, and absorb as much as they can, and they did. Okay, so back into the mean, cover. Maybe we can get to the other side of it up here. Who knows? Okay, but the well, in terms of VWAP, yeah, that has already played out, but the majority of the transactions took place up here, and that's what you'd be looking for if you're really looking for back to a value area. It is this value area here that you're looking for. Right, so does it have more buying pressure to make it back up here? I don't know. Doesn't look too good right now. Yeah, this is strong. This is a good move, but in here, you're starting to see some back and forth in here. Yeah, exactly, Jack. It's understanding the order flow around whatever level you're looking at. And you know, the one thing that Stadelmeyer and Dalton talk about with the initial balance, I don't even know if Dalton follows it anymore. That concept of the initial balance, and I understand that. Like, you know, I don't know what I think of it, but the trading style, it's not my style, but I understand the concept, and it can be the same as any other area on the chart. What it is about for the day, though, is very simple. The first hour of the day has the most trading, and the last hour of the day. Okay, you get these volume smiles. Here, we'll just demo it. We have a 5-minute chart here. Let's just take a look at it. I might need to look at a 15-minute. Okay, and add more data. I really, these charts are so cumbersome. So let's look at a week. Okay, see the volume smile? Here's your open. Here's high volume. Then as the day progresses, you know, midday low volume, and then it starts to pick up end of the day here, and there's your spike again end of the day. Okay, so what were the concept in the trading for your initial balance is very simple. Okay, you can also look at the last hour balance as being really important. That's why traders look at the close and understand the close. But you're looking, you're day trading for the day. You're looking at the most volume that traded and who is offsides or onsides or winning or losing. That's the concept. Okay, and the first hour, there's a lot of people already positioned. Now, where are they going to be compelled to buy or sell after they're positioned? All right, so let's take a look. All right, and we can take a look at here's 9:30 to 10:30 here. Okay, so this area in here, in fact, we can look right at it here, and we can go very precisely here to here. Okay, and then here's our profile. All right, so yeah, here's your point of control up in here, kind of developing point of control up here. So yeah, this kind of little range then is just kind of an important area. Here's your low, here's your high. That's it, right? You can look at a midpoint, you know, low, high, midpoint. You can look at value areas, you know, which would be just kind of deviations. You can look at your VWAP within it, whatever. But it's just this first hour of volume that you're looking at. Okay, so let's go back now. And let's go through that concept, though, in a different way. let's look at a high volume area. Okay, here's one right here. Okay, this is the same concept. We're going to do like a miniature balance area. Okay, so here, volume picked up to here. That's it. Here's our range. That's what we want to look at. All right, what is the order flow around these levels now? That's what we want to determine. Okay, well, you can see it's holding pretty nicely, right? Okay, so now are we going to break that range or not? Or are we going to, is it fade the outside edges of this range just like you would your initial balance? Okay, well, this is actually pretty good. We trade up here, and here's your absorption up here. Pure absorption, guys. Good one. Right? Traded into it here, traded into it here, failed to go higher. Okay, here's an exhaustion here on this one. Look for the mean reversion trade at that point up here. Back down to, well, it could be your midpoint, could be your point of control, it could be the low here, could be high liquidity. I would target the high liquidity and market structure. This little area looks good, or the where it originated from here, or this liquidity in here looks good to me. Those kind of three areas. So what it did was it just came back down into here, and it totally exhausted out here 3 times. Buyers come back in and move it to the top of the range. Okay, so there's some buying pressure in here a little bit. So let's see what unfolds now. So this, we're going to play the initial, or we're going to play the balance of this high volume area here. Same idea, same concepts. Okay, and it's really choppy. We're not getting too much out of it right now. They did sell down here, but it traded right back up here. Let's zoom in. Let's take a look. Okay, so still selling. Okay, all right, we got something here. All right, so let's look at this here. All right, so we've got some sellers on the hook down here and here. Okay, we need buyers here. If that scenario unfolds in here, likely we will break the balance, or the balance area that we outlined of the high volume area there, and we'll trade back up into 49.25 or 50. Okay, so now we're going through that scenario in here. We're looking for people who got it wrong in here, and then buyers back up here. Okay, and we got a little bit, not a whole lot though yet. Okay, we might get it on a retest here. Let's see. Nothing. Boy, it's pretty dismal. All right, it's a small little area in here. All right, now if we get sellers on the bottom edge here, well, yeah, they're breaking it here, but it's the same idea. That now these guys got it wrong up here. We were looking for going with these guys, right, and taking it higher. Well, they're going to be getting stopped out now down in these areas here. So these sellers hung on in there, and they did not get stopped out, and we see the move lower here. Okay. Well, what about down at this bottom edge here? Okay, did they absorb? Not really. Now we're getting some buyers. All right. Yeah, I don't really like it, but now we're looking to see if these guys got it wrong here. We're looking for buyers up here, and to move back to the high that we originally were kind of looking for earlier, and then a break. Okay, so there's a little bit of a bounce here. Let's see if we can get more buyers back up here at 47. Okay, even a smaller one here. Let's see if we can get buyers here at 46.25. Yep. All right. Come on, buyers. Should be able to inch it back up to 47. No, this, I mean, look, this is not high probability in here, but we're just going through this concept of like who's off sides. Here we go. This is looking a little bit better now. Let's get a little bit more buying here. No, no, it looks like the buyers are kind of off sides a bit still. Right? Do you understand the concepts here? We're at the bottom edge here, okay, of this high volume move here. Right now we're looking to see in the order flow here, we're looking for absorption basically is what we're looking for. Now we just got it here. Okay, great. All right, so now we're looking to see this context again. I still like it on the buy side there. Now they're pulling and we're getting our buyers here. Okay, buyers, let's see you move it back up to the top of the range here. Okay, just up here. Okay, for starters. Okay, we got our absorption. Now we're looking for them to pull away. There they go. Okay, top of the range. Okay, now this is pretty good. It's down to the bottom of the bigger value area here, or edge of this high volume area here. So kind of looking for a bigger move here, back up to 40 here, or 48, I'm sorry, 48 and a half. Okay, because we were looking for it in here. We saw something a few times. Now we're getting it. Okay, so in fact, we could even not only get it to back up to here, we can get our break at this point. And there we go. All right, 48 and a half. They're still pulling here. So, it can still go higher, go up to 50. Okay, guys, same concept as your initial balance right here. Okay, here's your failure. Here's the move back up, and we have the potential now too to break here and go with a bigger trend, in fact. Ascar looks like sell, sell, sell. Yeah, I don't know where you were selling, but if maybe down into these areas here, which is good. You love Friday, sleep in tomorrow. All right, well, all we've gotten is top edge here and the pullback to where it broke from. Okay, here. Yeah, well, you also have your VWAP up here, M. So yeah, there's your VWAP again, and it does align here with the top of the range here, a few different hits up here, right? So I don't know, I don't put that kind of magic into the VWAP that VWAP traders do, but hey, it does not matter. If it's a moving average crossover in MACD, as long as you have faith in it, you've back tested it, you studied it, and you know how to trade it and manage your risk around it, and it's profitable, it does not matter. Okay, Ascar. All right, well, we've been kind of zoomed in here looking at this small example here of just high volume area here, and how to understand this here, very much like the open, right? Like high volume and open, and then that kind of sets the tone in here. So you're looking at kind of edges, and what's the order flow around these edges in here, and just so happens to align with VWAP as well. Big guy selling. Okay, well, maybe I mean, what we've been covering in this webinar has been absorption and understanding maybe bigger players in terms of absorption. And what we've seen so far has been absorption on the bid, to be honest. Okay, I have not seen much on the offer. Or we have not seen much on the offer. Let's jump over to NASDAQ. You're saying you're looking at NASDAQ. NASDAQ looks better for sure. Look at the these high areas of liquidity here. In this case here, still more buying pressure, be able to trade through it, traded into it, absorbed it here, but they traded through it here. They traded through this one, and then now this one's completely absorbed up here. So this one looks really good, right? Traded into this one up here and failed to get higher. I'm sorry, it did. There's still a little bit more above it. But even with this here, with this, we covered this scenario here with the S&P, so it was kind of equal to it. Traded into it here. This is what we want to look at. Now, it traded above it, but is it sustainable? Can it accept? And you know, this is where you can look for your trap volume up in here, and then you start to look for it. This is kind of nice in here. There's one thing that's missing in here that would have been nicer to see, and that would have been in this kind of retest here. We do see buying here, lack of buying here, so we have our exhaustion. That's good. One thing that would have been nice to see in here would have been big red dots in selling down here already. Okay, even down in here as well. So if we got this kind of scenario in here, it's really starting to tell you. You do see some of the red dots in here. We do get the retest there. There's lower liquidity down in these areas here on the offer. They are transacting in here. And then we get more sellers here. So this looks really good for at least coming back down into these lower areas. Okay, and then it really sold off. Okay, it zipped right through it. So yeah, we do have that on the NASDAQ. Boy, I don't know. We haven't looked at some of these lower areas in here in terms of absorption on the NASDAQ. I would look at the same thing. We were just looking at the S&P. I'd be looking at this kind of zone in here of high volume, and kind of what's the order flow around here. Yeah, you might even say it's high volume. Let's just take a look here. It's pretty high volume all the way through. Maybe it's better in here. I don't know. There's maybe a couple different zones in here then to take a look at. Okay, now let's just look at the order flow around those levels, or the transactions and the order book around those levels. Okay, guys, any questions on this? If you like this, please hit the like button. We asked, you know, the theme here, what you wanted to, what you wanted us to cover: absorption, correlations, or price action. And all of you hit the absorption. Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at this here. This looks pretty good for trading right back up to 70 here. Now these guys did absorb. All right. So we got to watch this here. Be careful with this. Do we still see buying pressure above this here at 65? Not yet. So there's your absorption. Now, do we get sellers down here? Not yet either. So not too much to read out of this yet. There's some exhaustion and a lower high, and then there's some selling here. Okay, I need to see the retest here with some selling, then it would look good. And we're not getting that scenario. We're getting the opposite, buying up here and then the potential extension. All right, here we go. So this is a false, looks like a false breakout. Did we get our sellers here though? No. Let's see if we get them again on a retest. No. Right? No, not getting them. There's some buying. Now, do we still get buying pressure above here? If we do, right up here, I'm looking for 68 and 70 now. Yep, I'm looking for it. There we go. All right, now that happened quickly, but we went through, absorption, and then what happened around that area, and then we said lower high. Starting to see sellers here starting to look pretty good. Retest, no selling. Buyers come in. We get our retest back in here. Do we get our buyers back in again? We zoomed into this area here. They traded into it. We're still getting buying pressure above it. Saw it again here. We're looking for the move, right? Okay, now, it's a very short play. Now, did they absorb up here? Let's answer that question on this NASDAQ. Yeah, absolutely. Look at this. Okay, there's some, and there's some. Where's our exhaustion? Where's our sellers? Okay, they trade into these guys, but there's still more selling pressure. So they're looking a lot better now, Askar. I like it. I like your idea. So it's selling up here, or absorption up here. We're already down to the bottom of this little level in here. That would be my first take profit into this liquidity down here. And now let's see if we can get another leg down into maybe here around 45 or so, 50, 45, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, we've got this. It can't get above this level up here around 70. Right. So yeah, we're looking for our aggressive sellers now to try to move the market away from that area. Okay, S&P following suit. Looking pretty good also for now our little high volume area here, and this would be like equivalent to your initial balance break if it can do it. It's kind of still in a battle here. I don't see any absorption yet on this S&P. This is nice up here, top edge, or top of the range. Not much more in here. I mean, they're just down here, so at 43 and 44 a little bit. They pulled here, as you guys can see, so it's just kind of back to being a little choppy here. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up. Thanks for coming, everybody. Hit the like button. Would really appreciate that. We want to bring you high quality education so you can use some of these concepts looking at your edges here in Bookmap and put these pieces together in the education. All right, so that's what we're here for. And we have other streamers all day long in here. You can go watch their streams, and like Tom B is looking at he's going to be looking at his initial balance. He's a volume profile trader. This is one of his things he looks at. All right, so we covered it as well. Tony saw some of the absorption indicator in here. That helped us understand this move back up into kind of mean. This has turned into the point of control, or a developing point of control in here, right around the VWAP. And we also saw that went through the concept of what like initial balance is, and looking at this high volume in here, and then looking at our absorption again in these areas in here to give us insight to where price might go. And then we jumped over to this NASDAQ to check out some of that as well. Okay, same concepts over here in the NASDAQ, and it basically works on every market. All right, so yeah, thanks Viper. Let's see, any other last minute questions here? To subscribe to Bookmap through Thinkorswim. Yeah, they don't have the kind of studies like this that we have. So like absorption or stops and icebergs, etc. They do have CVD. They have the heat map. They have the volume dots, and I think the drawing tools they have as well. So you can still do a lot of what we are doing in here. The kind of additional insight with these add-ons though is really nice, and in Bookmap, this adds value, no question. You know, understanding this absorption or these icebergs in here, okay, after a stop run, at the bottom edge, after the first hour of trading, and then the failure here, and then looking for that move back in. Yeah, all right, Abby, you're looking over at Binance. You can see yourself adding and pulling liquidity. Yeah, exactly. The cryptocurrencies are a little, they trade differently. I mean, all markets, kind of trade the same. I mean, here's your, high liquidity up here, and here, and there's your absorption here. Same concepts. Okay, so failure to get through here, and then we're still looking though to see if there's more buying pressure in here, and then it's basically, some exhaustion here. Here it is again. I mean, same concepts. Traded into it. It started to exhaust out in here. Traded into it, exhausted out. Now we're looking for sellers on here and lower highs. We get the lower high. We're getting sellers down here now, and we're looking for sellers to push through, and they do. And then we're looking for liquidity on the bid, basically. Okay, and other structural areas in here. We have a great crypto trader, John Slazas. He's on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. So you might want to go and check that out. It's great stuff. He was a longtime futures trader who's trading crypto. You're not going to find that very often. Yeah, I would recommend that you check that out, so that you can really start to understand your cryptocurrencies from maybe a different viewpoint. And market structure is so critical, right? We've been talking about market structure and absorption this entire webinar. Okay, so at our levels of structural levels, we're looking for these limit orders getting filled and keeping price from going through their levels. All right, guys, thanks so much, and we'll catch up with you on Monday. Have a great weekend.